All right, so we got this Polaris Trail Boss here, and this recoil is looking pretty rough. So the spring doesn't feel like it's broke, but we're gonna see if we can get this tore apart, see if we can get those dogs loosened up a little bit, see if we can't get this running, working a little better. No. So I assume this is just like a normal recoil, but I have been mistaken, and I'm not really sure what I'm looking at right now. I almost wonder if we gotta pull this whole outer cover off. There it goes. I have no idea what I'm doing, just so you all know. Ew. No wonder this thing didn't work. Alright, so that is the reason why we follow this sign. Recoil handle must be firmly seated to prevent water entry. Drain starter motor if water enters. See owner's manual. Because Polaris had a stupid ass design. So if water gets down in the recoil housing, somehow it gets inside this cover. I don't know. But the starter motor's, the throwout gear is under this cover. So I think I'm going to start by parts washing this. All right, I've done some looking, and it looks like this big piece right here must have the stud on it that's threaded into here. If you see here, it looks like somebody's already beat on this. I'm thinking if I can hold this here, I might take that spring out of the way so I have a flat there. Maybe I put a crescent wrench on there or something, and then see if I can tap this off. I looked at the threads right here, and it looks like a normal right-handed thread, so I'm not worried about it being a goofy thread. But let's try to pull this spring off and then see if we can get that out. All right, so let me show you what I did. Pulled this spring off of this little dog here. I put the vice grips right on the flats on this main piece. I don't know what to call it. So that spins with that now. And then I took my vise and opened it up far enough that I could just set my channel lock or my vice grips inside of it. And I could kind of hold on to that. And then what I did, I took my big old pair of channel locks here on this center lug and got it broke loose that way. So that didn't seem too bad. Yay, tough. All right, so this just fell out as soon as I tried taking the housing off the vise. What I think needs to happen is I think all this just needs cleaned up because it's super gummy from being rusted to shit for so long. Pop this clip off maybe. Try to see how all this fits together. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna probably hit this on the bench grinder with the wire wheel. I'm not gonna grind it, but I'm gonna hit it with the wire wheel and get all this scale and stuff off of here. And then I'm probably gonna make sure this is cleaned up good too. This dog moves super good, so I'm not worried about the dog really. Just worried about this surface here that looks kind of crappy, and pretty much this whole cup. And I'm gonna wipe this off, start cleaning up the rest of this. All right, the outside of this was the thing I was the most worried about. So I got all that wire wheeled. Now, to put this all back together, it looks like there's a locating dimple right there. That looks like it goes in that hole right there. So that has to go under that way. Fits on there good. But I need this on here. And this is how it's going to go in there. The dogs need to be up. And I remember this little narrower dog thing. There's a wider one here. The narrower one went underneath the ramp end. So, okay, so this cup's cut out right here. That needs to go on the loop of your spring. So we're going to set that down in there first so it catches it. And then we're going to set the plastic piece in here. Try to center up the square as best you can there. And then this is going to have to go in relation to that. So I'm going to have to stick it in here this way. All right, that looks better. We're probably, I don't know, an 1/8 inch from flush there. We're just about flush with the case that's behind this seal. So that's sticking out farther than it was last time. I'm holding everything in together with my other hand. Start to spin this. All right, so as it starts to get tight, you should be able to move this still. Probably what I should have done before I did all that was clean all the gasket off of this, but I'm going to do that now, get this surface cleaned up. I'm probably going to put some Yamabond back on the surface, clean up the engine case too, the mating surface to that, and then we're going to stick this back on, and then we're going to start winding the spring. Really what I need to do is see how many times this rope is going to wrap around the plastic piece. So if I start the rope here at the top, it's going to go around 1, 2, 3. We're just going to say roughly 4 times. So that means I need to have at least 4 revolutions of preload on this. So if this recoil was on here like this, it's going to rotate it this way as we pull the cord. So I just want to turn it 4 times this way. So let's keep track of this right here. So one turn, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go 4.5 because right here is where my rope goes in. All right, so now I gotta tie a knot in this. Pull that knot back on the inside. We might trim that up after we get this loaded. Now, I'm just gonna let it go. All right, so that's not enough preload because right now, it hasn't sucked this in. So probably if we go one more extra turn, we should be good. So now all I'm gonna do is pull the recoil out. All right, so that should be 4.5. Now that should be 5.5. So now we're going to do the same thing. That's not too bad. The only thing you got to watch if you overwind a spring is you'll screw up the spring. So I think that's got enough return in it at 5.5 turns. This rope was roughly 5.5 feet long. So that should give you a good starting point and a good way to do it. But now that you know that, I am going to bolt this up, hopefully, if I can find my bolts. Great. All right, guys, if you found any of this useful, please hit the like and subscribe button. But until next time, peace.